Al, we have done it. We have reached the end of season 1 of Love Alive.
Mm-hmm.
We're halfway through.
Wow. And then we have a movie.
Yes, we have a movie. So welcome to episode number 13. That's it.
Yep.
Of Jared and Al Watch Love Live. I'm Jared, that is Doc Al and Lady M.
Hello.
And we are discussing season 1, episode number 13, entitled Muse Music Start. The season 1 finale.
Coming off of an episode of me being very angry.
Yes. Some hot drama happened last episode.
Woof.
And Muse is in a bit of a pickle.
Yeah. There's some upheaval, if you will.
It's true. It's true indeed. So yeah, we begin the episode. Umi and Hanukkah are not speaking to each other after what happened last episode. Hanukkah's other friends think she's bummed out about quitting being an idol, and because of Kotori leaving. They also think that's why her and Umi aren't talking to each other right now.
Mm-hmm.
They basically invite Hanukkah out to hang out with them because she doesn't have anything else to do.
Yep.
Which is also like interesting because like they're the ones who kind of like are very appreciative to Hanukkah for what she's done.
Yeah, because she
Out of anyone,
saves the school.
they're like, "Hey, you saved school. You accomplished your goal. Like everyone in this school will always be proud of you for what you did.
Mm-hmm.
Like you set out your goal. You got your goal accomplished. You did what you set out to do. Like we are all proud of you. You should be proud of the fact that you did that."
We are happy.
We're happy. So she goes off and hangs out with her other friends.
In the arcade.
We see Ellie and Nozomi working student council stuff. Nozomi's sad.
Yeah.
And they're like, "What do we do?" And Ellie's like, "But Muse is not Muse unless there are 9 muses. Believe in the heart of the cause, Nozomi." Nozomi's like, "I'm still sad."
God.
The rest of the members have a meeting on the roof, and Ellie is like, "Yeah, we should go on hiatus." We're kind of in an impasse here. Nico is like, "Dude, no. What do you mean we go on hiatus? Screw this." She wants to continue on. But everyone else is kind of in the flux. Maki thinks that they can't keep going on without Hanukkah. And then later we see Nico in the fast food place with Hanayo and Ren being like, "Hey, do you guys want to keep doing this or not?"
Yeah.
So like Nico is like, again, this is what we like we talked about last episode. Like Nico is very desperate to get to Love Live, and rightfully so because she's a third year. This is her only shot. So like, her desperation has now turned to like, who else in this group can I get to like literally go with me and keep going? And she basically grabs Ren and Haneo, and they go along with her.
Mm-hmm.
Which is interesting, little plot point here. Maki remembers a time when Hanukkah was like very creepily clapping for her in the piano room in like one of the first episodes. I'm like, whoa!
The first year.
Umi goes and talks to Kotori about everything, about if she's actually really going to study abroad. Kotori's like, "There's nothing I can do about it now." Umi's sad.
Umi's sad.
Everyone's sad.
Everyone's sad.
Hanukkah and her friends are in the arcade. They have fun. She's not sad. They go to play DDR.
Mm-hmm.
And Hanukkah is up, and she sees the DDR machine and has flashbacks to dancing and going through the beginnings of Muse and all the things that she's went through and everything. And then her friend's like, "Hey, you gotta get on the thing and do the thing."
You gotta hit some notes.
Yes, she starts dancing and does really well. Her friend's very exhausted afterwards, and she's just like, "Yeah,
It said something on the machine that was really
you are
funny.
dance master."
There we go. She got like a AAA. It was pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm. She's obviously she's very cardioed up and everything from all of her training and everything. So like she's good to go.
Yep.
So she has all that going for her. Her and her friends go her separate ways. She goes up the stairs to the shrine where obviously they've done a lot of trading. She runs into Nico, Ren, and Haneo. And she's like, "Oh, hey guys, how's it going?" And They're like, oh, you guys are still practicing, huh? And they're like, yeah. Nico comes up and is like, yeah, we are practicing. I mean, that's something better than what a quitter would do. And it's basically like, and I think Honoka's like, why are you guys still doing this? And Nico's like, because I love being an idol. Like, this is what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're not going to let me give up on this so easily. Like, I will do this because I love putting smiles on people's faces. It is the thing that, like, I aspire to do every day of my life. Which I wish this series would have gone in a completely different direction from this point forward.
Tell us about it.
Because I like Nico here is being harsh on Honoka,
yes.
But I think in a way as well, she is like trying to get her back. She's basically like trying to push her, like pull her back in by like kind of being very blunt about her feelings and everything. Yeah, essentially. Like, and I think Nico would give everything to like bring Honoka back at this point. And I would have loved to see, like, if this was a series that was not in its first series, like this was like the third or fourth iteration of it, I would have loved to see like this become a thing where like we see this become the split of Muse, and then so like you basically get everyone kind of like into their own groups, and then season 2 you go forward. So like in my head you would have Nico as the leader of like this first group. Like Nico and Honoka basically kind of like co-leaders.
Mm-hmm.
They keep Hanayo and Ren. I would assume they would probably get Maki because of Maki's relationship with Honoka and Nico.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have on the other side, you see Ellie, Nozomi, Umi, and Kotori band together as a separate group. And basically, season 2 is like these two groups coming into competition with each other, becoming rival groups of each other, having battles against each other, still having these like this very uneasy feelings towards each other, especially like Honoka and Umi and Kotori. Like I don't think Ellie and Nozomi would basically have as much resentful feelings, but they join up with the other second years anyways, because like obviously I think they would probably mesh more well with them.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially season 2 is like these two groups battling it out to get to Love Live, and eventually near the end, they make up their differences, come back together as Muse, and that's their path forward to Love Live. Like, I think that would be such an interesting way to go through this, like, the second season. Because, like, obviously, this first season has been kind of less drama-filled.
Yeah.
Per se, and, like, they've never really... Arise is eventually going to become the rival group, but, like, they have not really been a factor at all.
Right.
In this first season. So, like... I think it would just be such an interesting dichotomy of like of storytelling that they could do, and in a way is very risky compared to what they go through here. I mean, also like you could sell more songs, with different groups if you want to look at it that way. But like, I think it would be such like an interesting narrative decision, because like I would love to see like just the way that like Nico is able to bring Honoka back. And like, and have like her own group, and like have it go into conflict with this other group that like they were close to and were members with each other,
right?
And just like see how those conflicts arise and everything. No pun intended.
But then they would also know like how the other group works because they've worked with each other, so they know like their strengths and weaknesses.
And especially because like, if you split them up in a way, like obviously the Honoka Nico group would have like the song lyricist and a composer, but they would not have a like
costume designer or
someone who could coach them,
right?
Or be like stern on them in practice. While the other group would have obviously like Umi and Ellie to be hard in practice, Kotori to be costume designer, and then you'd have to figure out who's going to make music and who's going to compose or going to do lyrics,
right? Which are not easy things to do.
Yeah, and it would bring up such like interesting like dichotomies of like how do they make these new groups like stylistically different compared to what Muse was.
Right.
Like I think that would be such a fascinating idea for like the way for the series to go to. Obviously, it's not going to go that way.
Nope.
But man, there's like so many interesting possibilities you could have done if you like diverge from like the story they're telling here.
But they didn't.
They didn't. So yeah, Nico tells Hanukkah off, gives her some tough love, but it's like, but I mean, she's real with her,
right?
That's the way sometimes you gotta be. Ellie goes to visit Hanukkah, and they have a little bit of discussion, and Ellie kind of is very apologetic for like what happened. She tells her that like, hey, Muse is going on indefinite hiatus because we don't really know what to do because we don't have a leader anymore. And Ellie's like, hey, you know, I'm very glad for what you did for Muse and everything. I'm glad you brought me into the fold because like I probably would never have done this by myself. I never would have gone to you guys and like asked to join or anything. So like I'm very grateful for you basically putting your hand out and be like, hey, come with us in all this. And she's like, I completely understand why things with you and Katori are very weird because like we were all shocked that this is happening, and it's even more so for you and Umi because like that's your best friend. Like, how do you handle those emotions and everything? How do you handle that situation? Like, it's a very complicated thing. So they have that conversation. Hanukkah afterwards looks up the Love Live rankings and sees that Arise won Love Live, and she grabs her practice clothes out. Dun, dun, dun. We go to the airport the next day. Kotori's mom drops off Kotori. Kotori's like, I can go by myself, Mom. I'm not a child anymore. I'm sad. Kotori's sad.
Everybody's sad.
Everybody's sad. Hanukkah is in the auditorium on the stage where they had their first performance. Umi shows up because Hanukkah called her out. Hanukkah is the first to apologize here.
Called her out.
I mean, she kind of did.
Yeah, no,
they hadn't really been talking, so
it was just funny.
Hanukkah is the first to apologize, which I think we both kind of have conflicting thoughts on. Not necessarily conflicting with each other, but with the way the story is presented.
Yeah.
But it is enough to basically break that barrier down between them and kind of like smooth some of the awkwardness away. And Umi's kind of like, hey, if you need to go find Katori, you need to go get her now because her plane's going to leave today. Also, they sing their song.
This is the second thing that we've seen recently of like, hey, you need to go get to the airplane now. Yeah.
Before Kotori boards, Hanukkah shows up and is like, let's be school idols. Don't go.
No.
Katori, everyone cries. Katori says that she's the one that should have apologized and everything. And then we cut back to like the rest of Muse hanging out in the auditorium. They're like, they gonna make it in time? Are they gonna make it in time? And then Hanukkah like slides in on her butt. And then there's like a shot of her just rubbing her butt. Just weird.
Yep.
But Hanukkah and Katori show up. They're all there in their uniforms. And we go to a filled auditorium. And we get a group performance of Start Dash.
Yep. We did.
There you go. We get to see a bunch of people in the audience. Katori's mom's there. Maki's mom shows up and she's like, oh. Honoka's mom and dad are there, except you don't see her dad's face. You see a bunch of other people just in the crowd. We see a shot of Arise watching, which is interesting. And afterwards, Honoka's like, yeah, let's do this thing. You see Honoka's dad cry.
Yeah, I did. I had actually I was going to say rewind, but I had to go back because I didn't notice it the first time.
Poor guy.
Sorry.
So proud.
He was so proud.
So yeah, this is how we end the first season. Muse is back in the idol rankings, essentially. Because this is the rebirth of Muse. Which, like, I was kind of like saying, like, this is probably why they show this performance of Start Dash and Sunshine as like Chica's kicking off point, because like literally this is them, like, their essential rebirth as a group together. But yeah, going back to the Umi Honoka apology, I think we're both in agreement that like Honoka should not have been the one to have to apologize first.
Right.
Especially with everything that went down. But it's one of those situations.
She was kind of being the bigger person there.
Yeah, like she's the bigger person being like, hey, I will bite the bullet and do the apology here, even though like clearly I should not need to do this.
Yeah.
But if we are going to make this awkwardness and weird feelings go away, like someone has to do it, and I'm the leader. I'll do it.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. I totally get it.
Yeah.
So not happy about it, but I get it.
At the same time, clearly she never had to apologize first.
No. It was not her fault.
Mm-hmm.
Honoka did nothing wrong.
Yes. So yeah, very kind of safe way to get everyone back together very quickly, but obviously that's kind of where this was eventually going to go anyways. So.
Yeah, and I mean, like, the weird thing that I was like, oh, okay. They're like, Katori would stay if you just told her. She needed you to say that she would stay. And I'm like, why is this all on her? Like, that's unfair. But also, like, Katori can't make her own big girl decisions. Like, come on. You can't just, like, decide to move overseas and, like, pretend that, like, oh, but I'm going to do it unless my friend says no. And then, like, if she says no, then I'm not doing it. Like,
I can go get a job by myself without anyone knowing, but this decision is too difficult.
It's like, but that's also, again, like, too much pressure to put on Honoka. Like, that's not her decision. And, like, there's no telling that, if Katori regretted it, then, like, she'd blame Honoka forever.
Yeah.
Like, that's not fair. But that's how they phrase it on this, and that's how they frame it, is like, you have to tell her to stay, and then she'll stay. And it's like, what? Why didn't she just stay to begin with then? Because she clearly wanted to stay. I was also thinking the whole time, like, did they already ship all of her stuff? Because, like, how are they going to get her stuff back? Shrug shoulders.
Maki's family's going to put in a phone call, be like, yes, can you get this specific person's stuff back? And they're like, yes, we got the money.
Yes.
The money has been wired.
We are very rich. Can you please give us just this one specific girl's things?
Yes.
Thank you. We own a family hospital. It runs in the family.
But that does it for season 1.
Yeah, we did it. We did it.
Obviously I think we'll get more into this once we finish the series itself, but like, did this first season go as you anticipated? Especially coming off of, like, after seeing Sunshine and everything.
I mean, I didn't expect all this stuff, but
yeah,
I don't know. It's just felt very. I have not been as attached to it as Sunshine. Like, I liked the characters better in Sunshine. I liked the way that the story was going better in Sunshine. I liked that there was more of a struggle, really.
There's certainly more drama, I think, in Sunshine initially, because, like, I think you could look at, like, the pacing in some of, like, the middle episodes are very bizarre.
Yeah.
Because, like, essentially nothing really happens once they get all the members together. They just kind of, like, go through the motions for a few episodes. Like, it's very much, like, it's almost essentially, like, pacing where, like, you're pacing it out because, like, this season's going to go very long.
Right.
But that's not the case. So, like, I think some of that kind of doesn't help, and then, like, you backload a lot of the drama, like, the very big drama for, like, the last 3 episodes.
Right.
So, like, and, like, you kind of have to, like, get all that out and then resolve it very quickly, so, like, it doesn't really have a lot of time to breathe. And then also I think, like, just they kind of go very safe with, like, their narrative choices here. So
yeah, I mean, it just felt like everything up to, like, the last 2 episodes went, like, extremely easy for Muse. Like, most everything went the way that they needed it to go. Yeah. And there wasn't any, like, real learning moments or, like, character growth moments.
I believe we'll get that more in season 2, but don't quote me.
Okay. I won't quote you.
We'll see.
But, I mean, I will say that the last 2 episodes here have really made me rethink some of my thoughts on some of the Muse members. But
your character rankings.
Yeah, no kidding.
Look, I think it's clear to say if your character rankings don't have Honoka and Nico as the top two, what are we doing?
Yeah, no, those are my top two easily. Everybody else is like down below right now. The zombies at the very bottom.
That's not a surprise.
Also, let's talk about that OVA.
Yeah, so they put out an OVA in between seasons 1 and 2, which is basically just a music video.
Mm-hmm. A very weird music video.
Which they kind of did more of. They did like more narrative music videos. I think like when Aqua came about.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily know how they did those with Muse, per se, but like this is basically kind of in that same vein. It's like 15 minutes, and it's weird.
It's weird.
So like, it starts off with Maki having this very bizarre dream where she's being chased by something, goes into like a church, something gets like trapped
in a cage with like eight people in robes surrounding her.
And then like we cut to her telling Hanayo about this dream. She's like, "Wah!"
Now I'm gonna have the nightmare about the nightmare.
Yeah. Maki goes to the music room to go play piano, and like the piano's not doing anything. And then this child version of her shows up, and she's like, "What the heck is going on?"
You. And then she's like on the ground, like almost crying.
And a storm pops up.
Yep.
She doesn't go to school the next day. The others are going to go visit her. Ellie goes back to school, or goes back into the building.
She's going to read ahead.
She forgot a textbook to get, and then she sees like a mysterious shadow running about.
School sign.
And then the school goes real dark and lit up and everything.
Yeah, it's weird because it gets dark, but it also becomes like a nightclub. Like it's all disco-y.
So she follows this like weird shadow out and eventually leaves her out of the school, and like it's nighttime there.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh God, it's nighttime. What's going on?"
This is weird.
And then they're approached by young Maki, who's like, "Hello, I've always been watching you guys."
Hanayo's like, "Did we time travel?"
And then eventually she transforms into regular Maki.
Yeah. Also, there were fireworks at one point.
And Hanayo's like, or not Hanayo, Hanako's like, "I can't believe you knew how to do magic."
She's like, "So what were you gonna say to us? You've always what?" And the answer is like, she's always loved them.
Even though we've not known each other that long.
Yeah.
And then that leads into a performance of Music Start.
It was a very weird OVA. I no explanations as to what's going on.
It's real weird.
School's haunted.
School's very haunted.
Nico needs to get her
Persona.
gun out and like go in and like, take care of things. But
it's half blank is haunted, go get a gun, and half Persona 4.
Yeah, it really is. Like, is Maki in the TV world? Is that what's happening right now? And like, this is a shadow version of her? What? Can somebody please explain to me what's happening?
So yeah, it's very weird. There is some trivia about it, by the way.
Oh wow, trivia.
More so than we got in the final episode, which is none. This is the only episode that did not get dubbed, basically just because it's an OVA.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even. I don't think it's included in the releases.
Oh wow.
So, which probably is because it's a music video, so like different
Right.
rights. It is the shortest episode, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
This episode marks the first animated appearance of Maki's young self, which was also introduced apparently in one of the chapters of the School Idol Diary novel. The outfit that the younger Maki wears is the outfit that ends up being on her rare card for the children's set released in School Idol Festival.
Huh.
And continuity-wise, due to the trainer outfits that the girls used in the OVA episode, the ones where they're practicing and everything, this could be settled in some part of the second season between the third and fourth episode because like it's more wintry apparel because they're their winter uniforms and like their training outfits are more like long sleeves and pants and stuff like that. So yeah, that thing's weird.
It's weird.
It makes sense why like Sunshine doesn't really have one because like you could kind of count the MVs they do as little OVAs because they have little bits of narrative stuff here and there.
And they at least make a little bit more sense.
Not School's haunted. What's going on? So yeah, that's weird. But that's season 1 of Love Live.
Yeah, we got through it.
We got through it.
I only got I was gonna say minorly angry, but that's not true. I got pretty angry. But I'm okay now. I'm still judging these people though. You'll have
Next
to
time,
make it up to me.
we dive into season 2, episode number 1.
Dun-dun-dun.
It's called Love Live once again. Will Muse go back to Love Live? Also, who's going to be the new student council president?
Wait, what?
Who's going to be the new student council president? We'll find out next time.
Okay.
But for now, if you'd like more from us, go to seasonalcheckup.com or sac.cool, so where you can find past episodes of this podcast and other podcasts like Seasonal Checkup and Seasonal Checkup OVA.
Yay.
You can also find columns and reviews on the site as well. If you'd like more from Anladium, go to anladium.com. She's got columns and reviews. And you can follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/animecheckup. So join us as we dive headfirst into the second season, because it's going to start